Sandbox was booming. Many have said that NFTs and metaverse are dead narratives.
You're right. Like when you look post-COVID in 2021, the boom of play to earn, the boom of metaverse, we've never seen growth that fast as like this in gaming industry. Now those models, they don't work anymore.
How are we close to a reality where creators genuinely, they control all of their digital assets?
We are far.
Hello and welcome everyone to Gatecast, zero to take off. Now we're boarding Web3. Take off at gate.com. I'm your host, Maria Vovchok, and today we're so happy to have here co-founder and ambassador of Sandchain and Sandbox, Sébastien Borget. Sébastien, welcome to our show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's thanks for joining our show because I haven't seen you for quite a while. There's so many things been happening with Sandbox and right now with Sandchain. Sébastien, what do you believe was one defining moment that made you realize that Sandbox should embrace NFTs and the Web3 model?
So, since I've been a teenager, I always wanted to make my own video game. Fast forward, I've been a serial entrepreneur. I graduated from engineering school. I found my business partner, Arthur Madrid, and we co-founded several companies, had great exits, always in technology. And around 2011, we stepped in mobile gaming. That was really the moment where now is the opportunity to be able to make our own video games. And among the first games that we launched with this mobile free-to-play game studio was Sandbox. The Sandbox back then was a 2D mobile game where people just by the touch of the screen with their finger could drop pixels and they would interact with a lot of physics and they could share those creations in an online gallery for others to see and play. And in a way, I wanted to enable anyone to make their own games. It became a massive success. But it came as well with a growing frustration. Like I was very close with all the creators. We were featuring them, giving them like a lot of recognition. Actually, those creators, they spend their time, this passion in creating content. That content attracted players, made revenue for our company. We wanted to share back of that, and we couldn't. I couldn't find a solution until 2017 when I stepped into blockchain, crypto, and Bitcoin. I was very interested to understand how it worked and apply it. And then the first blockchain game, CryptoKitty, appeared.
Oh yeah.
We've seen that in video game for a long time. What's special was the fact that you were buying those cats not from the developer in the game, but from other players. And not in the game itself, but on an external website, a marketplace, sort of like eBay of virtual cats called OpenSea. And you were paying them not with a credit card or the in-app payment, but with a cryptocurrency. And at that moment, I realized, but it's a solution we need. Then creators can be paid directly outside of the game, and it's instant player to player. We don't need to be involved. And so instead of applying this to cats, we should apply this to any creation made by our players on Sandbox. And the technology underneath was NFTs. So we had this revelation moment where we should apply blockchain and take a chance to rebuild a version of Sandbox, more ambitious, this time 3D, multiplayer, with a set of tools from the 3D editor, the no-code game maker, the marketplace, and the tokens, land, sand, avatar, and user-generated content, to offer a complete solution for for creators to make games, to own their creation, and to monetize it. So that's what we did. 2018, we got acquired by Animoca Brands, and then spin-off Sandbox as its own entity, grew it. So today, Sandbox has over 8 million users. We collaborated with over 400 major brands.
Fantastic.
Most of them, we brought them to crypto for the first time. So Sandbox has been a driving force for people to discover NFTs.
Which brands? Can you tell us?
So the first one were The Walking Dead, Snoop Dogg, we had Care Bears, and then we had Warner Music, Gucci, Steve Aoki, Paris Hilton. More recently, we have had Casio G-Shock, Cirque du Soleil, Peaky Blinder, Terminator, Smurf, Attack on Titan. So a lot of diverse content from music, sport, gaming, entertainment, anime, manga, from all parts of the world. Super exciting because fans, they could for the first time make games with their favorite characters, own the assets, own their creation, monetize it as well.
So whenever we're talking about owning your assets, can you please tell us how are we close to a reality where creators genuinely, they control all of their digital assets without the big platforms in the middle?
We are far.
How far?
Basically, if you look at the whole gaming industry, which is roughly 3 billion gamers, $3 trillion a year revenue, it's largely dominated by some platform like PC gaming with Steam, and then mobile with App Store, Google Play Store, and some other. And none of those stores yet have implemented Web3 technology natively. for the users who are spending real money with in-app purchase to actually own them digitally. You pay real money, you buy virtual content. That virtual content doesn't really belong to you. Why is that? Because if the game shut down, the content is lost. If you stop playing, you have no way to ask for like a refund. We're grown accustomed to it. I can buy a game once and then I can buy it on the second hand. All that second-hand market doesn't exist with a digital asset, except for the new game that natively implemented blockchain technology at the core. Specifically NFTs for like ownership of the in-game content, the avatars, and so on, and some with like token that represent utility token that could be the currency of the game or other resource of the game. So you have to look at like what are today in blockchain gaming the main platform and main games. Actually, and that's quite exciting, even if people think like, well, we don't hear so much about blockchain gaming, we don't hear so much about metaverse and so on, we are still seeing like the market and the industry the biggest as ever. And that's interesting. But however, it's more fragmented than ever. It's no longer just one blockchain, Ethereum, where everyone is publishing. A lot of different chains, meaning like they have their own large audience. You have over 300 million gamers on Telegram network alone with their mini apps. But those are limited mostly to Telegram network. They are not going to move into a game that's on Avalanche and so on. Not yet. Maybe the tech will evolve this year. We'll have like liquidity of asset and bridges to facilitate all the content to move swiftly. And what that means, because I see the chains as like channels of distribution. In the same way that the app stores, the console, when you publish a game, you get players. When you pick an ecosystem, which is a chain, as a developer, you should get players from that chain. The reality is like, it doesn't happen like that. Many chains, they were happy to have games on it. It was a great narrative for them to reach to users, but they didn't bring new players to those games in most of the case. Actually, the games contributed. So we say that Web3 has a network effect, but I felt like it was really a one-way direct. And that's why ultimately that also led us at Sandbox to essentially build our own blockchain, our own layer 2 sidechain over Ethereum, to actually own that distribution ourselves and give more utility to our own tokens.
We'll definitely come back to Sandchain. As you mentioned, Web3 was supposed to give the network effect. Let's say a couple of years ago when we were talking, obviously Sandbox was booming. And we can say that over the last 2 years, the concept is not exactly that popular anymore. So many have said that NFTs and metaverse are dead narratives. So what's your perspective on that?
You're right. Like when you look post-COVID in 2021, the boom of play to earn, the boom of metaverse, we've never seen growth that fast as like this in gaming industry. Now those models, they don't work anymore. So every wave of innovation has this kind of like spike now. We see that with AI and AI company breaking records. I think we will see a big comeback in gaming. The industry itself is bigger than ever, but more fragmented. Now, we've seen that every 3 to 5 years, there is a new hit game that bring back the masses into gaming. We are seeing the evolution of games from product to services to platforms. We are playing game with live ops, so they launch, but then they have regular seasonal updates. Games as a platform means like basically they are allowing their users to actually mode them, editing everything from the engine, the script, the asset. And the one that will live the longest are the one that will enable those creators to make substantial revenue so that they can keep on living from their creativity. So that's the future of gaming.
When you actually mentioned about the cycles, I would like to focus on that because you have a big post-season 4 boost. But how do you ensure that this is not just another hype cycle?
That's the challenge. Like, if you concentrate your effort and the player attention around those seasons, then of course the activity will cool down afterward. But if you keep them close enough, the activity doesn't cool down back to the previous level. It cools down maybe to twice the previous level. And then you build up like this.
So will it be like American roller coaster?
Well, hopefully not. But the reality is like, and also we are still testing and experimenting the business model around. So what we learned as we launched Alpha, we shouldn't necessarily focus only on a high number of players, but we want to focus on high engaged and monetizing players. The industry, the early blockchain games, they forgot about like revenue first, and instead of just like giving token to bootstrap the network effect, that can work only for a certain amount of time. And that we've seen at Sandbox, like basically that's a metric we call the return on reward spend. For every single token you give to players as rewards, how much of that token is going to be reinvested into the game economy instead of being cashed out on an exchange like Gate, for example. But as a game developer, ideally you would want that not 100% of your players take away the value and don't come back. That's the problem you're facing. So through the iteration, season 5, season 6, we were able to move from 20% of users who re-inject their money into the game, buying more asset, avatar, and so on, to somewhere like 60% to 80%. Once you go above, that also means that players are ready to spend more than they are earning, which is normally the grail for like creating a sustainable business model.
Right now, I would like to focus on SendChain because, as you mentioned, it's a layer 2. So there are already quite a lot of layer 2s. Why have you decided to launch SendChain, and what do you believe, what specific creative edge or what's the unique edge does it have for creators?
Right. Well, it's because there's a lot of layer 2s, and actually
how do you stand out?
Making your own blockchain is becoming commoditized. We're not building a layer 1 where we need a lot of engineering. It's a layer 2. It comes like almost like software as a service. We call it RAS, roll up as a service, in partnership with ZK Sync. They take care of the technology so we can focus on the content and the go-to-market. Our focus is on the content creator, the creator economy, and providing brands, providing solution, providing our user base, providing our token sands. Users don't need to have to wait for a new listing and the token to have sufficient liquidity and availability. It's there, and it can be used. It's powering all the transaction, being the gas token. It's ensuring the liquidity. So any other token that we'll launch on SandChain from content creator or developers, it will be paired with Sand. It can be exchanged, and then it can be cashed out on exchange again. So that's a great advantage. We onboarded many brands and users to Web3 for the first time, but Web3 is more than that. Web3 is the ability to launch your own token, deploy your own smart contract, maybe to do DeFi, real-world assets, tokenization of other assets, and so on. And all of those will now be possible on SandChain, which is EVM compatible, while at the same time we are working and focusing on content creator because that's where we start from. We want to empower people to make games, to make content, and be able to keep doing so by monetizing. And the challenges that the creator had on Sandbox, we looked at them, and they are essentially the same challenges that any content creator, podcaster, YouTuber are facing on other platforms. They are struggling to be discovered on the platform. They're struggling with like fast payment. On average, it takes somewhere like 45 to 60 days to collect your payouts. You cannot reinvest into your studio, your production, your team, your travel, your logistics. So we want to provide solution that helps content creator have access to on-chain credit, to have on-chain reputation, to have advanced payment eventually with instant payment in crypto, to be able to explore new ways to monetize with launching their own token, as well as I believe like every content creator is a business, and as a business, they should have their own loyalty program. So the more their audience is going to watch video, interact, follow, like, comment, download an app, click a link, buy a product from them, they will be able to earn the points from those creators. But that's also beneficial for the creator because now they have a better understanding of like who their audience is, not just in terms of number of users or which countries they are from, but among two users in the same country, which one is just watching versus which one has like I know is like a gold tier and like 10,000 points versus 10, so it engage much more. So they have a better way to understand who is their audience and interact and offer better value for them in return.
You're actually talking a lot at Web3 conferences about the future of play-to-earn gaming. So what do you believe is the big bet right now for Web3 gaming in general?
So I believe like there's a lot of potential still in using blockchain, but it shouldn't be the central piece. So for user-generated content, obviously, the ownership, the monetization attached, the ability to have like a liquidity pool for different resources in game. So if I earn gold in a game, even though it's not a cryptocurrency, I should be able to sell it easily or exchange it with other users. I see like there's a lot of possibilities. Games as a platform, I mean like the core gameplay is the game itself. Now we are able seeing like as well prediction markets. So you can have people who earn revenue by being able to predict or bet in real time based on the action of the game, and the action of the game can be on-chain, verifiable. Esports as well can happen, and we have a lot of like real money gaming where like people are challenging with each other. I feel as well like everything from like battle pass, owning an NFT allows you to enter certain higher tier of tournaments that might give you more or less rewards. It's a quite natural progression fitted for the different level of players.
You actually described a very bright examples how it should work ideally, but we have seen that many play-to-earn games in the past, they have collapsed, let's say, unsustainable tokenomics. So why people should believe that this time will be different?
Well, to your question, I think time will tell us if they are like sustainable. But the good thing is like those games are monetizing with concrete loops that rely on like not just giving out rewards from like token that they launched, but actual gameplay, actual product. People who can make purchase from both fiat or token to buy the NFTs, and are not just like zero-sum game that we've seen before. That's quite different. Building a sustainable economy, that's something I would say still difficult. It's not specifically a problem into Web3 game. Game by themselves is a very competitive industry. You can see like, even if you put a lot of love and effort into a game, it's not the guaranteed product that will be there and sustainable. And so you have to master all those different skills of like optimizing user acquisition, first-time user experience, being data-driven. And now you add on top of it, like having an economy that makes sense, because most of those teams were not knowledgeable or expert at building games. So they have suffered a lot of like the mistake that you could do as early game studios. And the players, they are confronted, specifically in crypto, where like assets have values, they have constantly an opportunity to spend that. Their token to turn it into another token that could be more valuable. You have this kind of like pressure where your audience is losing patience over time because the asset that they are buying are likely to be less valuable than others from new games or new token that will launch. And that's what really happened. That arbitrage that people have, like when you start to think things are valuable, and what happens when there's inflation, deflation, when you start to compare things relatively. I still think at the macro level it's good because games, it's been one of the highest driver of like financial literacy. People understand the value of asset. They make wise decision, arbitrage based on like how they perceive the value or the future value to come from their asset. And so communication is key. We're all fighting gaming, tech, AI, crypto, and in general, we're all fighting for the user attention. And attention is the true metric that is valuable.
We also spoke about AI because AI is still very hot right now. And if you think about it, that AI can create infinite worlds instantly. What will it make Metaverse obsolete eventually? What do you think?
Well, I think like it's a great companion tool for accelerating creativity. AI has been such a democratizer for anyone to create content with a prompt or now automatically with agent. It creates by itself. So content is no longer the bottleneck, which raises another question. When something becomes plentiful, like how do you make it valuable? How do you attach the same sentimental value to something produced by AI or by an AI agent than something that you made yourself? I think it's an interesting philosophical question.
In that case, by the way, I wanted to focus when you said that the creators, they're fighting obviously for users. If creators want global reach instantly, should Metaverse platforms integrate more deeply with SEX liquidity and user funnels? What's your take on that?
So I believe it's important like to have like, I see games as digital nation. They are essentially, they have the players are the citizens. The game, the lands, the worlds, they are like the physical land where they're interacting, the playground. And then you need like the liquidity for the assets, for an economy to exist. That's important. Before that, there was a centralized economy, the unlimited issuance of assets controlled by the game developer. So that wasn't a problem. Now with decentralized games, it makes sense that actually there is a whole financial layer on top of the game. There should be indeed like users or AI agents that can contribute to ensuring that among all the scarce limited resources that are tokenized of a game, they are always available with the right liquidity so they can be bought and sold, and there will always be a supply. Because if you want to buy something that has no supply, like what's the price? Like the price is whenever one person is ready to sell, that's the price of the market. But how is it fair? Essentially, I think like the AI can improve the liquidity of like more available resources and make sure that they're always being exchanged without a gap. That's just one example. Now, content creators, they are also workers of those digital nations. They produce content. They will want to be able as well to basically to take some of their earnings back into their physical life, so they can spend it to pay their bills, to travel, to buy food, to buy a car, and so on. And so again, like we need solution that facilitate the on and off ramp of those tokens. So previously, it was essentially MetaMask, the wallet. Nowadays, most of the game have like a more seamless interface. Unity and Unreal have even like in-game native wallets, allowing you to spend and make payment or earn tokens while in game, not leaving the experience. And soon enough, I'm sure like you will have like integrated financial services within those games could go through decentralized exchanges or SECs, like you said, centralized exchanges.
By the way, when you mentioned about travel, so for example, Gate.com, Gate is pushing Web3 payments, travel, trading, everything under one ecosystem. So how do metaverse projects like the Sandbox fit into the future of this crypto, of everyday crypto utility?
That's a great example. And I go back to like one of the first things that we want to provide at Sandchain, it's loyalty point.
Okay.
But loyalty points, like for content creator, but any business should have like loyalty point. The best example are airline and travel.
There were already examples.
But they were centralized, and like those companies, because those points, they are liabilities to them, their incentive is like you don't consume your points. So basically, they make them expire, they offer very much non-valuable goods, or they hope that you forget about it, right? I think that's not a healthy business model. And on the opposite, you could offer points to reward as people travel on the Gate travel platform. And you could allow them to turn those points into some token that they're interested in or other experiences within an ecosystem. But if you're no longer into the Gate ecosystem, those points could still be exchangeable with other points because they are on chain. So you could sell it, send it to another user, cash it out if you want. That's where the blockchain provides, again, like real utility.
How would you say, if you were launching the Sandbox right now in 2025, what would you do differently and what would be your best piece of advice to any Web3 founder right now?
First, like the choice of technology. Like you build with the technology available at the time you start. So in 2018, Ethereum has a layer 1, no layer 2s. We started with C++ and we moved to Unity. So we will pick a game engine that's already mobile native, that deliver a better performance where we expect. So the vision we have for matters of like live concert, multiplayer interaction, better graphics, still in voxels, but looking better, will be much easier and faster to implement because the engine provide that natively versus us spending a lot of time and effort to add it to the engine. Then we would definitely have like mobile native right from the start, plus PC for the creation tool, aggregating value for the Sand token as we bring those users as our brand and the transaction happen with the game. The business model of like how we have been selling lands, how we've introduced Sand, how we've distributed Sand rewards. It was also great because like in 2018 we were pioneers, we were the first to introduce it. But we also seen that it was maybe nowadays is different. For example, land sales used to be live. You were buying them live on the map. Back in 2021, it made sense because there was like a huge demand for it, and everyone was trying to buy at the same time. So that was an interesting experience where the live turned green, but as well frustrating. So we put a place in system where instead of buying live, you had like 1 week to say I'm interested to buy it, and there's some sort of like pool where like some are lucky winners who are selected and congrats, you won and you got your land, now you can mint it, or sorry, next time. That was a solution to that problem. Nowadays, I feel like we should be back to, I just want to buy the land. I put a purchase and then there is an offer ongoing and people who want the same land could come later and say, I want it. So we have a period of time to say, I can increase like an auction. I say, I'm ready to buy the same land a little bit more. And then you have some time to change and so on. So we would adjust the model as well based on like what provide always a better user experience. We actually did something like this with GBM auction, which introduced this model that as well, like anyone who participates in an auction, even if they don't win the asset at the end, the land in the case of Sandbox, they will still earn back tokens because they're participating into the bidding, which I think is a better user experience. Oh. And so some of things came because like there's other solutions that were natively integrated. Some of those things came from the experience that we had and the interaction with the users. AI would be more natively integrated right from the go, whether with vibe coding or like generative AI for like 3D asset and worlds. It was not possible back in 2018 and even in 2021. There was not, or it was only the beginning of the models, large language model. So imagine in the next 5 years how we would relaunch things. Yeah, and who knows? Like Sandbox is still there, Sand is there. Maybe there will be within 5 years new ways to create experiences, and it will still be Sandbox, and you will still have your avatar, your identity, your land, and your sand, and it will run on Sandchain with a lot of other content creators across all other platforms, and that will be the true metaverse.
Oh, well, in this case, I would love to follow that. Maybe I'll also participate. I'll be one of the content creators on Sandchain. Thank you so much, Sébastien. Right now, let's wrap up with our lightning round. Are you ready?
Yes.
True or false? In 5 years, metaverse stores will be as common as websites.
False.
Okay.
E-commerce, website, 3D world will still be different ways to explore. Will take a bit of time to build it in the same way, but that will be more common.
Okay. True or false? The next billion-dollar movie franchise will emerge from a metaverse like the Sandbox.
True.
One word. Describe the metaverse future in a single word.
Open.
Okay. Fill in the blank. Gatecast Zero to Take Off is about launching into Web3. One piece of advice for creators.
It's time to take back ownership on your audience, on your content, and to free yourself from the platforms.
True or false? Play to earn will outgrow traditional gaming revenues by 2030.
True.
Okay, why?
We've seen that games that generate over $1 billion of revenue over transaction fees, like Axie Infinity. We're seeing games that are able to grow economies bigger than certain countries' GDPs as well.
Interesting. Quick choice. More crucial for metaverse success, interoperability or user-generated content?
User-generated content.
Nice. True or false? We'll see AI-driven NPCs in metaverses indistinguishable from humans.
True.
When?
Well, we're getting very close to like with the latest generation of AI, we're impossible to distinguish like videos, photos
from
deepfakes. So how about like text-based or voice-based conversation with human and like moving character within an environment?
I'm just curious, when exactly do you believe it may happen?
Well, I think InWorld, for example, is a great company that's building that. 2026-7.
Okay, interesting. True or false? Most creators will earn more from metaverse assets than from traditional social media.
True.
What exactly as well?
It's not just about like posting a content, advertising a product, selling merch as a traditional revenue model. Like they will be able to launch their own economy, whether they are through points, through their token. They will earn through as well like the secondary transaction from those. We're already seeing that with Zora. New model will emerge from the ownership of their posts, their content, and their audience.
Thank you. And lastly, complete the sentence. Yeah. By the time we take off fully into Web3, the biggest shift will happen where?
There is no way back from the world from crypto. Exactly. Like it's adopted everywhere. All governments are following. Stablecoin, Bitcoin, ETH. Like the institutionalization of and tokenization of any assets, it's there. We don't come back from there. There is no more world. So we are all taking off into a new world, a new planet Earth, where everything is tokenized and value, and to us to capture that value and build a greater economies with it.
Thank you so much, Sébastien. Today we were boarding Web3 together with Sébastien Borget, co-founder and ambassador at the Sandbox and Sandchain. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed our Gatecast Zero to Take Off. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow Gate.com. I'm your host, Maria Wovchuk. I'll see you in the next episode.